Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're back again. We're going to do some more textures. This time we're going to do video textures. Surprisingly, it's not very difficult. So let's get right straight to it. The first thing we're going to do is open up our jl.js file because we're going to need to update a couple of things. First thing we're going to do is change our load texture function. I broke it out into two functions now. Now it's a load texture and update texture. The way you load a texture is the same way you update it, so I decided to break it out as two separate files, two separate functions to allow us to kind of control it, not have so much duplication. And on top of that, we are adding a new parameter or argument called no MIPS. By default, I want to have MIPS for most of my textures, but when you're dealing with video textures, you don't need MIPS, or you shouldn't have MIPS for video textures. So that's why that feature is there, because we're updating textures to handle video stuff. So those are just our two functions, and just copy what's on screen. There's not really much for me to explain. Like, that's pretty much all that it is. I'm just breaking it out into two functions and adding a no MIPS setting. Now we're going to move on to our resource.js file. So on screen, you'll see on line 23, we're adding a new function called load video texture. It's practically the same thing as load normal texture. The only difference is we're kind of just adding the type vid because we need to treat it slightly differently than we do with images. So that's going to be one of our new functions in our resources. And scroll down, and in our load next item, the one that actually does kind of like the queuing, we're going to add a new case, which is vid, so we know how to handle videos. So the way how a video texture works is that we create a video HTML element, right? And then we kind of hide it, and then we put it onto the page. And then all we do is just set up a bunch of settings to that video tag. We're going to put in the queue data, which is line 56. We're going to add some event loading to it. So when it's done loading, it kind of calls the download success. We got the abort, we got autoplay turned on true, we got loop true, and we add the source, so the actual source we're doing it, and then we finally call it to load, and we call it to play. And then we add it to our cache. So that's what we're doing, how we load it up. So that's really kind of the magic behind video textures, is that we actually just load up an HTML5 video and just put it on screen. This kind of works on Android. I don't have an iOS device to test it on, but I did get this to work on Android, and it kind of works pretty much the same way. You might do small changes for that, but that's a different story. But overall, this definitely works on the desktop, and it should work really good for you. And if you scroll down to the bottom, all we're going to do is add a cache for our video. So this way we can reference back to our video tag when we need it, because we're definitely going to need it for this lesson. Now we're going to move on to our HTML page. So now we're going to use our new load video texture on line 41 instead of load texture. So it works the exact same way. We give it a cache name and then the file that we're loading up, and we start up the resources. Line 52, we're just changing the texture name. I changed this. I slimmed this back down from our previous lesson, so our shader is bare bones for now, and that's the only thing we need to really pass in is really just a texture. So we scroll down some more, and on render is where some of the magic happens. As you can see on line 74, we're going to do an update texture, and we're going to grab our cached video tag. And then on line 78 and 79, we just do our regular rendering. But 74 is really where the magic happens. The way you actually render a video into WebGL is, like I said, you have an HTML5 video playing in a hidden tag. It's kind of hidden away, and that plays the video and it plays the audio for you. The way you get it into WebGL is that you kind of just pass in the video tag as a texture during the loop. So right now the loop is set up to render nonstop. So that means this will update every time it renders. It updates the texture. So so you're kind of just doing like a screen capture of the video that's currently playing. That's essentially what you do. What's the current frame of the video? Push it to the GPU, and as you loop through, that's all it does is just guess what's the current frame that's on the screen, and push it to the GPU. and it just rinse and repeats. And that's really all the magic to rendering video, is that you kind of just grab the still images as the video plays. And so ideally, you can make a video player out of it. So you can just press pause, and it'll just keep pushing that texture on. Ideally, optimistically, you want to do certain things, but to control it, like don't push it to the GPU if the video is currently paused or not playing. But that's really the cinch of it, is really we're just going to update it. So if we scroll down, you'll see that our shaders are bare bones. It's just a bare bones texture shader. Nothing really to see here. So now if you go to the browser, here's a snapshot of the video playing on a cube. Now you'll see that it's duplicated. It's not. The video actually, this is how the actual video is. It actually up and down, because it's supposed to be like a 360 video. But this gives you an opportunity to play with this just a little bit. So if we go back to our vertex shader, on line 97, we're going to update the UV coordinates. Now what we're going to do is actually cut the Y position in half. So because we only want to, since the video repeats itself twice, the actual video, so we're just going to cut it in half. This is how we do it. We just want half of the UV coordinate space. So now if you go back to our browser and start rendering, we'll see the video is now playing in the browser, and you're able to rotate it, and it plays, and you should play the audio as well. And you can have fun. And there you go. It's a working video texture, and you can do anything you want with this. Ideally, the best shape for this would be a sphere for this specific video. And I was thinking about actually making a tutorial on how to build a 360 video player. I'm just waiting to get access to an iPad or an iPhone that supports version 10, and I just want to finish prototyping to make sure it works for those devices before I kind of make that tutorial. But for now, this is just video textures. I just wanted to get it out there, and in case I never actually make that 360 video player. But yeah, this is it, and hope you have fun and show you how easy it is to make such a thing.